Welcome to episode 12 of That's What I'm Saying, the podcast about hip hop, entertainment, dating, sex, relationships, and social issues from a sometimes ratchet but mostly woke perspective. So, subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. We're in iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and Stitcher. I'm Shaun.
And I'm Ny. What's up, y'all?
Hey, so now what are we calling this episode? All that talk we had, we still don't have a title.
Talk about the title.
All right, we'll get to it. So, we got to start off. I think our ratchet is a little bit woke, but okay, so we have to start off with part 2 of the Drake and Pusha T diss. What's going on?
He did not come to play with you hoes. He didn't come to play. He was snatching motherfucking wigs.
Off their heads, off with their heads. That track, I think you sent me the story of Adidon in the morning. It was like waking up for Christmas in the morning. I was like, what is this?
When I heard it, I was up and I saw it. I was like, what is this? I got a SoundCloud notification. I'm like, what is this? Yo, I was like, I was clutching my pearls that I didn't even have on.
What?
Yo, that hurt
my. It hurt my feelings.
It hurt my feelings.
It hurt my feelings.
My feelings.
It hurt. So I was listening to it and I was like noticing. Okay, so first of all, it had the track that was like the story of OJ. So remember that whole thing, OJ. I ain't black, I'm OJ. So, and then Jay-Z wrote the song. That was like, 2 years ago? So it's using that track in the back. So we already know it's already setting the stage to me when I heard that, like, okay, what's this about? And then just digging deeper into it, it does sample the Nina Simone song, For Women. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm. So,
that's kind of in the background. So I'm like, all right, so what is this? So I just had to, if Drake, I mean, this it ruined everything I envisioned and I thought about Drake. It really did. Because when I first saw that cover and you sent it to me, I didn't know that was him. I didn't know that was Drake. Mm-hmm. I know who that was. I just thought, ooh, that's terrible over there. That's terrible. And then to come to find out that was Drake, at a time, because I think it doesn't look that old, even if it was 10 or so years ago. So it doesn't look that old.
He looked a little young. He looked a little thinner in the face. So it looked like it could have been, because he's a little bit thicker now. So it looked like it had been done like in the past when he was maybe 10, 15.
When he was on Degrassi High. Did you ever watch Degrassi High?
I never watched it.
I actually watched it, and his character on the show was crippled, like was in a wheelchair, like used to play basketball, and then he was crippled. But I actually watched that show, so it looked like like Degrassi. No, and it used to come on, I think, like PBS, like public, and I just remember it was a comedy. It was funny to me because they all had those Canadian accents. Hey man, hey G man. So I would just remember him being on the show. So one of the lines from the song, I have to quote it here because it was like, man, my heart just fell to my feet. It said, "Let's have a heart to heart about your pride. Even though you're multi, I see that your soul don't look alive." Oh, you see me in the house right now. I just had to turn around. I just had to do a spin. Oh, Lord.
Man.
Lord. So he's mocking Drake's dad, which truth be told, I didn't get the whole Steve Harvey suit joke for a minute. It took a minute.
You must not have seen his father in these damn suits.
I have. So honestly, I didn't put two and two together. It took me a while. So then I was like, oh, they're talking about Drake's dad. So I mean, it's basically I put a post on Twitter because I went listen to a song. I said, from one detail-oriented person to another, I feel Pusha T, because there's no other way to dissect a person unless you pay attention to them and really try to delve into, okay, what's really behind what you're saying? What's really behind those actions? And that was this. That is what
psychoanalyze him. He really analyzed this man's life,
broke him down, from Drake's attitude towards being black and having a white mother, and how his father left him to trying to have a Beyonce, but instead you got this woman, Sophie Brasso, former porn actress, which, by the way, I had to get on Pornhub just for that, just to see, because I didn't know that she was a porn star. I thought she was an Instagram chick. Like, I thought that was her claim to fame. No, I didn't know that she was deep throating for the cameras
And the
in real
thing
life.
is, she is so what this is the thing I really don't understand. Kind of side note, how these stars or these, famous people in the circles that they travel in, they all
Mm-hmm.
be fucking the same women at the same time.
Isn't that
It's so
nasty?
it's nasty. And then for her to have to get like um a test to see who the father is, that means y'all going in her raw
Ooh.
after each other, like after each other.
Girl, bye. Man,
Girl,
throw
but listen, and I read somewhere that it was either his baby or
or Iman Shumpert.
ASAP.
Oh,
No,
well,
ASAP Rocky. It was either one of the twos. Did I say that right? One of the twos.
one of the twos.
But then, yeah. But
Yeah.
even then, I read. I don't know if this is true, but then I read that even when she was pregnant, she was still doing it to ASAP Rocky. Ew.
Ah,
Ew.
wow.
Disgusting. Like really disgusting. Like, all right.
And I agree with you. I always wonder, like, wow. I mean, don't y'all know? Don't y'all want something new? And like,
Right.
man, that's you. If I mean, if you could look at somebody, and be like, you done definitely ran in her. You done ran in her. You done ran in her. Like, I
And then
don't.
and then for this and then to go after a woman like this, like she is after getting pregnant. She is trying to trap somebody.
Thank you.
She is like in this circle. She's fucking everybody.
I
She
ain't
has a
saying she a
mission.
gold digger.
Yeah, but
She ain't messing with no broke.
gold
Oh man,
diggers
so
for
I
real.
mean that dissection on the story of Adidon, which I guess is using Drake's the child. So I honestly didn't think that Drake was hiding this child. I just felt like he wasn't being super explicit about having being a father. Do you think he was hiding this kid?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about it, but I'm not really in. I don't know about his life really, so I'm not really following like the details of his life. So I didn't really know about it, but the stories come out now where he has been providing for the kid. He flew him out for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he's an absentee father. He just didn't make it public. So and
Yeah.
it really is not any of our business, honestly.
and
But
that's where I took it. So I honestly, I'm giving Drake the benefit of the doubt, and I don't think that he would, not claim this child. I think it was, it's I mean it's private, and like you said, it's not really any of our business. But goddamn, Pusha T and splashed all your business out there for the
and
SoundCloud and
the
the
one thing that
YouTubes.
he said, the one thing that he said when he was like, "You stay winning, but your mama stay losing," coming in last. Oh,
Oh,
Sean,
oh,
what?
I
He
just
talked about that's like your mama. That's a your mama joke.
It sure is, but it's like
100th degree.
it's your mama to like the 100th degree because it's like
Man,
there's no explaining it. I mean, in the case in point, Drake he could not respond with another diss record. Like he had to put out a press release. Like
girl, that
this
was the
is
whitest shit ever.
that sure was. It
There's some
was
press
like,
releases in
man,
battle
you proofread that shit and everything before you posted it. Oh no,
And
this is
I also heard that read that he put out like offered $100,000 to anyone who could like dig up some dirt on Pusha T.
oh
I don't
good
know if that's
luck.
true.
Good luck with that. I mean, it's like this, there's a part of me that feels like, what, this is like I'm enjoying this old school kind of, rap battle.
Right. And you said last week you was like, "This is not a battle." Pusha was like, "Yes, it is."
Yes, it is. Basically, like, bitch, it is. Bitch,
Bitch,
I
yes,
might
it is.
be.
Yes, you might be, bitch.
Like, and that is, you are so right, because I was like, this is so vanilla. Like, this is
Uh-huh.
not Tupac hit him up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So
you,
you
you know,
lotto.
this is right. This is like a frappuccino. When you looking for that Hendrix, like this is not that. And let me tell you, he told me, Pusha T was like, bitch, I might be.
Yeah. Hold tight. So she's waiting.
Bitch. So
And
yes, the
he just lured Drake. It was like he just threw out a tester. Drake fell for it and he lured that big fish in and god damn it. Drake fell for it.
all look all of him fell for it. So I'm just
Read somewhere they was like, you cannot battle a nigga who is like 40 years old with 4C single strand plaits. You ain't gonna win. You is not gonna win. You ain't gonna win.
Oh my goodness. I mean, and
Hey, you
and just to like break down, because that's what he did, and this is where I'm most proud, because I'm telling you, like, I'm so detail oriented, and like when you can just psychoanalyze somebody and then you put it in a song, and he's talking about his daddy issues and his mom being Jewish, and
win.
him, Drake having these issues with his own black identity, which I think is very evident. I don't I you it's so many truths to it. You see, and what do you think about Drake is obviously he's biracial. He's never, not said that. But
Mhm.
I've also remembered, he parades his father around, maybe as a way to claim some of his blackness,
Mhm.
that running through the six with my woes. I'm like, okay,
Well,
who you
clearly
talking about?
that's not the life you grew up with, because he grew up in a very white world. His father
Right. He had
wasn't
a
really
he had a
present.
bar mitzvah.
Right, and you know what is so odd to me is that because he had, this very white upbringing, but how did he get into this circle that he's in? Like,
Right. Especially like I saw you on Degrassi High. Like I was a watcher of that. There was no way. That that Aubrey from Degrassi High, I don't know how he transitioned into
I
this.
don't understand.
It's like he woke up one day and found a sale on 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 blackness and black identity, and he was like, I'm gonna try this on and I'm gonna win. And I mean, and that, to me, like that, but it also shows that he's a great actor. Case in point is the picture that came up, and you have Drake in blackface, and I mean it just gets worse. It's like you're in blackface, you got on this Jim Crow t-shirt, you're doing the whole minstrel, step and fetch it kind of, look to you. How do you
Mhm.
explain that as a black man, if you're saying you're black? Because biracial is, to me, it's what you look at when you see somebody and you look at him. You can call him light skin or whatever, but I think you have to embrace the black, and obviously he does. I think he calls himself a black man. But
Mhm.
how do you explain that picture? What?
Well,
How does?
he said that he did it as a representation of what he was going through at the time with going through auditions. It felt as if he was being typecast and they wanted him to portray a certain type of character. And this was just kind of like him saying, they wanted him to be like a step and fetch it kind of person. And so I think that, according to this press release,
Right.
this is what it represented. Not necessarily that, he's in blackface and this is what he wants to do, but it just kind of represented what was being offered to him at the time.
Yeah, no. I know.
Yeah,
I mean, you just reading his press release, so why we call it a press release?
that's what it was. He faxed it in.
I've
He was
never,
like, he faxed it in. Oh,
never has a rap battle been won with a press release. Never.
this moment of Black history.
And Pusha T for the win.
Right. With a solid win.
Goddamn.
Okay. 2 up, 2 down, 757. Get up. All right, pusher. All right, push.
So,
Bring it on
oh
home.
man. Oh man. So I just, it really calls into question for me. And I was a Drake fan. But truth be told, the last song I
Really
remember from
great.
Drake and why I loved it so much, it wasn't catering to the dudes. It was, about what is the song? Nice for What? I'm like, I love it. I love that. So
That's been my
he
answer for the past week.
thank you. And he, to an extent, he does understand his audience.
Mm-hmm.
But
Which
he's,
is interesting.
mhm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry I cut you off.
I'm just saying, like, he understands that part of his audience, but I think his any little bit of street credibility that he's somewhat had to earn, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's been lost. Like this battle has done him in.
So well, I have a comment to that. I have a comment to that. But
Hmm.
before I have a quick question. So a core the core of his audience are Black women. So
Yes.
how do you think they're gonna react to him, for one, having a baby by a white chick, having a baby by a skanky white chick, and not really publicly claiming his kid?
Okay, so
Because
are we talking the facet of
those are all things that Black women as a whole
that's like
would
venom to
dislike.
our community, right?
Right.
but
Exactly.
but let's keep it real, because you know us, and I don't want to say us as me, but you know us. Like we also real very forgiving, and this dude got curly hair, and that shit sometimes trumps, the fact that he's having racial identities. He might or might not be
Mhm.
taking care of his biracial child with this porn star. I mean, the fact that he raps and he talks about nice for what, and he got curly hair, and there's plenty of he can get it pictures of floating around with him. Sometimes
Which
we'll be
also
on
kind
that
of addresses
petty.
your comment which also kind of addresses your comment your that I want to address your comment about where does his leave his rap career. Like
Yeah,
I think we're such a ADD society. Like this is gonna be the talk of the town for maybe a few weeks.
a minute.
I give it another
Hmm.
maybe 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and then he may come out with a summer smash, and it will be all forgotten
which is
because because when he decimated Meek Mill, we were like, and Meek Mill never came back. Went to jail. But
hmm.
Meek Mill is still pop. He had he had his song out. I forget the name of it, but his career is still
Yeah.
thriving.
And there's an argument to be said that his career actually took off and put him more in the spotlight when he came into this tanglement with Drake.
Right. That put him in a whole different audience that he wasn't in because Drake has the
Exactly.
women. He also has the white crowd too.
So I mean, which I'm just on the outside looking in. Like I liked Drake, like I said, for what he was for.
Hmm.
But this to me calls into question, and it's not just the blackface, because I mean, whatever happened 10 or 11, 12 years ago, and you took this picture, and I don't like the picture, and you're not going to convince me that you did it, to raise awareness or whatever it was. I think it's, you got to be more in control of who you are and your brand, and even if you're not in the spotlight. But that, I can't give him a pass for that. But I think the song really brought to for me to the forefront, those issues that are playing out with him. You see this man who, you know I don't think he could pass as a white man, but I think he
Most definitely.
uses, the privilege regarding wealth and, his blackness. He uses it when it's convenient.
Yeah, I mean,
And
he plays both. He plays both. He plays
he
both
plays both
sides.
sides, because, and I think that's the thing with biracial or, multiracial people. That's, they're always, when it's convenient. And that, case in point is the press release that he put out. That's some white people shit. Like, who does that? That's a rap battle. You need to come with a
Right.
freestyle on the radio on Hot 97. That's how you how you get back and come with your most
Right.
fire. You do not release a, a,
That was
a 6 paragraph statement to be read by your lawyer in response to.
right.
So,
Because you know what happened? Everybody fucking laughed. That's what happened. It had the opposite effect. Everybody fucking laughed.
oh, so I don't think I'm done with Drake, but I'm just looking at him with a side eye for now. I don't think he's not one of my top anymore, because I think that Pusha T has brought out some very valid points in dissecting this man's character. So,
Well, I'm like, I still like Drake. I like his music. I'm still gonna
yeah.
listen to his music because we are not without faults, and these are issues that he's probably been trying to work through his entire life, and it's not gonna happen overnight. And who am I to judge? I didn't grow up in his life, so I don't know how to carry that
Look at
conflict
you
that he
sounding
has.
like all the black women audience. That's so forgiving.
No, I'm saying
Ugh.
right. So what really did Pusha say that would make me stop listening to Drake if I'm a
Well,
Drake fan?
I think what he said, and it was outside of the song, but he said, when that press release came out, he said, Drake has been really silent on all issues affecting black people. So if
When has
he's gonna
Pusha been
say,
on the forefront of black issues?
true indeed, when he's not talking about slinging that coke, yeah, I agree. I
Exactly.
agree with you. I agree. Here we got plenty of fingers to point, but just hear me on this. If you're saying that you were way woke back 10, 12 years ago when you were in blackface, because supposedly this was an act of wokeness,
Hmm.
but you have these, I don't know you for that. I know you for these rhymes, which now comes to light. Maybe you have a ghostwriter, a collaborator or two, which, not a big deal for me anyway, because it's the delivery and how you say it. And but I think if you have this voice, what have you really used it for? With some fun songs, some fun summer songs, and occasional bangers. But now you go after this man who has now brought to light, like I said, okay, you've got some issues with your identity, and you're saying you were really woke back in the day when you dressed up in blackface, but we ain't never heard you today, Drake, on any of these issues.
Yeah, how that to me that's not a reason for me to stop listening to him because this message coming from the messenger is just falling on deaf ears to me because I like Pusha. However, all he talks about is slinging rock
Yeah,
and selling
even his
cocaine.
brother forsook the that whole genre of music. Like, I'm no malice no more. I'm no more. I'm no malice. So I get
Yeah,
it.
so it's not like he this is Chuck D talking about Drake. This is Pusha T. So all right, like I said, I think this is gonna we're gonna talk about this for another week or two, and then Drake is gonna come out with another song, and
Hmm.
it'll be a banger, and everybody's gonna forget, and we're gonna be in the summertime at the pool, rocking the Drake
Gotcha.
again.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. Well, but you know what? It definitely made my weekend because thank you for sending. When you sent me that fire, I just want to say it again. Boy, it was
Yeah,
like waking up on a Christmas morning, on
but did
back when
you
I was 8 years old. Good Lord.
I think I sent you the other video where they did somebody put they did
Oh,
the
Brenda's
Tupac
got a
song.
baby with the Brenda.
It was Aubrey's got a baby.
Oh, that was
I
terrible. I said Brenda's
completely
got a baby.
out. That came out. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was up working, and that I swear I laughed for 30 minutes straight. That's when he went to the when he went to the dumpster.
And for all of you, if you haven't seen the meme, so it's basically
Oh
they took
my
Pusha T's
god!
face and Drake's face and superimposed it into Brenda's Got a Baby, the Tupac video.
I think I posted it on our Instagram. Hold on, I'm pretty sure I did.
Oh
I'm
man,
pretty.
I think you did. It was and they renamed it Aubrey's
Yes,
Got a Baby.
it's the last post that I posted. Go to that's what I'm saying podcast.com. Yo, and
When he threw the part when he threw the baby away, like goodbye, y'all. I'm done.
and they looked in the dumpster, and it was a
It
baby
is a
Drake.
baby. It was a baby Drake. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh god.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna watch it tonight before.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
crying. I
it was a cute little baby Drake. Okay, all right.
oh, oh shit.
Real tears, real tears.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
All right. Moving on. Um, I don't want to talk about Kim Kardashian at the White House, but it's just like this we in keeping with the ratchet minute. So basically, KK was at the White House. Why we don't know. She was supposedly there to talk about a woman named Alice Johnson who's serving a life sentence for a first time low level drug offense. So Kim, she kind of popped it. I don't think she actually went to meet with Trump. She actually went to meet with the brother-in-law. This is the crazy. I'm like, why are we talking about this? But she met with Jared Kushner, the son-in-law, who's the
Hmm.
senior advisor to Trump, to talk about prison reform. So, this is exactly what we need. One reality star to another reality star talking, goddamn it, talking about prison reform
And they both of them don't have a clue
at all.
about prison reform. Not a clue.
Oh, like I can't even believe this is really happening. A lot of times I just have to stop and be like, this is really happening. This
There
is
was
really
a meme going around saying, who screwed black men? Who screwed more black men, Kim Kardashian or the prison
oh
system?
who's the runner up?
Right.
That's a damn shame. So yes, I don't know why she's there. Just
It's a callback.
stick to what you know, and then I can't even tell you what do you know, but whatever it is, stick to that. That's what I
Yeah.
have to say. All right, so moving on. So did you see LeBron James walk out
Pick up his purse.
put his shades on, put his theme music, just got paid his Friday night, and walked up out of the joint like
He
I'm sick
cleaned
of
got
y'all.
up. He cleaned got up.
But I
You're like,
can feel it. That
did
was
you
like
think I
so
be done?
so smooth. Then what did he say before he walked out the door? He was like, "Be better tomorrow, y'all."
Yeah, do better. Yeah, but you know what? I applaud him because he was
Yeah,
very calm and collected. I think I probably would have been thrown the tape. Like he
already,
was,
right? Already done.
I would have. He was already pissed because of J.R. Smith. Girl, I would have been flipping tables.
Off the chain, right? So I applaud him too because he kept that composure to the very end. To the stupid, are you sure? What are you? Do you know what a state of mind is like? You know what? If y'all don't stop with these white people questions and
Right.
stop
He
with
questioned
this,
me different
like,
times. I
don't y'all think alike? Don't y'all like? What kind of question is that? What kind of?
right.
Was
I
like,
don't
"What do I
know.
mean? What do you mean? I'm not sure." Like, no, I don't know what state of mind. Like, let me get my shades. Hand me my shades. Hand me my man bag.
And my purse, please. That's
I'm
my
a buy
purse.
here my man
That's my
purse,
purse.
my murse. I'm out of here
My purse.
in my shorts. Did you see the suit?
Yeah, I did. I did. I don't know how I felt about
I
that.
don't know. Look, it be
It's something
hot.
about.
It's hot. I guess. What?
I don't. I just don't. I don't. I don't like men in shorts like that.
Not those kind of shorts, right?
Nah, not those kind. Like if they were like longer pants, like the slim pants that kind of like a little bit high waters, I do like that look. Where it's like rotate. It's like a real tailored shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that look on men, but shorts, actual shorts. No,
Skirt?
that's
A
like an
skirt?
Easter suit
Mm-mm.
for like
I'm
a
good.
5-year old.
Yeah, like what you out here selling bean pies? Like, you. But whatever. I applaud him. That was a defining moment. I loved it. Like, oh man, I am here for the read. I'm right
Yeah,
here. I love it.
yeah.
So be
I
better
like that
tomorrow. It's gonna be my
he took
my theme
control
for the
of it.
week.
Not respecting me. I'm out.
Yep, you be better for tomorrow. So okay. Moving on. What do you have?
Oh, let's see. Yeah. Um. Oh, so my homegirl Riri split up with her boyfriend
Yes, I heard. Girl.
because her boyfriend was Hassan Jamil. He's
Mm-hmm.
a billionaire. He's heir to like the Toyota dynasty.
I
So
didn't
this
even know that. I thought it was
man
Japanese
has
people.
a ton of money. Like he has money, money, money. So
Mm-hmm.
they were rumored to started dating back in June of 2007. They were spotted making out in a pool in Spain and on dates in Ibiza. And I
Mm-hmm.
can relate to that because that's where I go for my dates.
Oh, you go to Ibiza? Is that how they say Ibiza? I
Ibiza,
know,
yeah,
right?
I go there. You know,
I
maybe.
go there. I go there.
But she said it's rumored that she said she stopped dating him because she just gets tired of men sometimes.
And like wants to be with women or like just gets tired of dating.
I think she just kind of gets tired of this shit. You
Yeah.
know, just I don't think it's a necessarily she just run into women and that's what it is. I think she just kind of got she was just tired, which I can relate to because sometimes you just be
Yeah.
dealing with some dudes and you're just like, I need a break because you are
Mm-hmm.
really getting on my nerves. You know?
Mm. I know you to do this too.
Yeah, I am quick to leave
Flip
where
the
you're
switch
standing.
now. Like what? What happened?
Man, man, it could be the smallest thing. You gotta go.
Ooh, but like your quick game is on 10.
Sometimes I be regretting it, but you know, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Like,
But
oh boy.
it's easy to quit a broke ass nigga. But this motherfucker he's a billionaire.
Yeah, it
You
must.
got to
Ooh.
you got to really think about this real quick.
Hmm.
Like,
Like, there, Riri, how tired did you get?
right, right. What really did he do? You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
It's
But
like
she has a
I ain't,
lot going on. She has her own dynasty and businesses she's building. So
which I
I'm
love.
sure.
Like, just shout out
Yeah,
to the just the Fenty line. I'm like so in love. I didn't drop Mac like a bad habit. I love everything that she
yeah,
that she's put out. From the highlighter, I'm learning how to highlight and low light and contour and do all of this. Thanks, courtesy to Riri. So, shout out to
yeah.
Fenty. But yeah, I
So
just so she left him, huh? Really? Yeah.
You
Man.
laughing right just in time for spring and summer, so you know what that means.
Mm-hmm. And
Me out.
cuffing season is over.
It sure is. Cuffing season is officially over.
Wow. So okay, Riri. I mean, and then I heard that as soon as she broke up with Hassan, well, you know who was trying to slide up in the DMs, Chris Brown. That
Was he really
he
for real?
I heard
I'm
he
not
befriended
surprised.
her again on Instagram. He's her friend again.
Aw, that's his
Which is
love.
I know, and it's also a violation of his stay away order, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure this is illegal, Chris.
I'm pretty sure. But all right, to each his own. So good luck, Rihanna. Look, it's hard out here. You know what I'm saying? And
Rihanna is my spirit animal. I swear to God, if I
she
had
really
my young,
is.
can I be Rihanna?
I
God,
so agree with
please.
you. I so agree. And I don't want nobody's life. I love my life. But if the question was
However,
posed and I had to make a choice, I think I don't want Beyonce's life. I don't want nobody. I want Rihanna's life.
yeah,
Okay.
she's living the best
Okay.
life.
Definitely. So yeah, I like that spirit. She's my spirit animal. She's my yeah. I like her energy.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So
All right,
moving on. What else do we have?
so this last little piece of ratchet is Roseanne Barr. You
Oh,
know, her show got rebooted. From it used to come on back in the what was the 80s, 90s, and it got rebooted.
which I watched.
But
Did you watch
last
Roseanne
week
back in the day?
I used to love Roseanne. I
Yeah,
ain't even gonna
right?
front. I
Don't
used to
even
love
front.
Roseanne.
Back in the
And
day.
now that I think about it, like it was no black people up there. They were like in real life, they probably would have hated me,
Mhm.
you know. But that was my show. I love them. But the weird thing about this reboot is that they had the exact same furniture. Like y'all could
Ugh.
come up and
What-
get furniture. That shit was old back then. It's like super old now. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand
Let's
that.
keep it.
But
So,
anyway.
so she got canceled.
And
Running her
also
mouth.
she got canceled. So she was on Twitter and she made a statement about Barack Obama's advisor, Valerie Jett, who was Iranian born, which I didn't know that.
I didn't know
I
that
didn't know she
either.
was born in Iran. Yeah. So she said,
Mm. In Persia, old Persia.
Muslim Brotherhood plus Planet of the Apes baby, and that would be Valerie Jett. So she tweeted this, which I don't even know. That
Mhm.
just came out of left field. I don't know where
Where it
she.
came from, and then it was something
Yeah.
about Channing. I don't know. I didn't hear the whole thing. It was something. Why was Chelsea Clinton tied up into it? Do you know? There was some part of this.
I don't know. I don't know. There's some. I don't know why. I didn't even hear about Chelsea Clinton being tied into it. But
Chelsea
I heard.
responded, and I don't know. I don't. It was
I
something,
don't
but
know. But what happened? What had happened was Channing Dungey, who was the president of ABC Entertainment, which is a black woman,
Mhm.
stated Roseanne's Twitter statement is abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values, and we've decided to cancel her show.
Yes, Lord.
So he elegantly said, "Bitch, you're
Bitch.
fired.
Bitch.
Take you and your shit and go home."
Now, I will say I was very happy to hear this because this is the same woman that I don't. Do you remember we talked about this before? We're Channing Dungey, which is she's the head over there at ABC, but she's the one who held back that episode of Blackish that was going to address some of the whole kneeling in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't aired, due to I guess
Mm-hmm.
the controversy that was surrounding it. So I was a little like taken aback that this black woman held back this what could have been, might have been, no, I don't know because I didn't see it, no one saw it, episode, but kind of came through with this swift kind of justice. You know, was it overreaching? I don't know. I don't know if and they were talking about it was $60 million on the table for the show. That's how much the network was looking to make, and the show had already been signed up for two more seasons. They'd already ordered like two seasons, so it was all a go. And with this, stupid individual with a tweet, everything came tumbling down. So everybody's jobs, everything is just your
You
livelihood
know, I'd be
done.
super pissed. All the actors. Man, I'd be super pissed. I would try to
Man,
sue
be at
them.
her house. But Sue be at her house. Send it all.
Mm.
It just
Oh,
it was so it was so swift, and I'm just throwing shit in the game. Like, maybe it was too much. People do have a right to speech. That kind of hate speech, there is no
Hmm.
place for it. And I think she might have or could have been dealt with in a way that didn't mean the end to everybody's job. That's all.
Oh, so you're thinking that her show shouldn't have been canceled.
No, I'm not saying that. That's overreaching. I am just, if I gotta be punished for what my coworker says about black people, I'm I'm really, I don't know, like that to me, like maybe that's a bit overreaching. Like, cancel her, maybe not cancel the show. I just, and maybe, maybe that
Well, she is
was not the
the
solution to it. Hmm.
show though, so
She what?
that she's the namesake of the show. So she's the namesake of the show. The show is, it's about her. It's named after her.
No,
So
I get
if
that
they take her
part.
out of the show, it's not going to be a show.
I
So,
don't
but
know,
but
like make her
that's
pay
not
their
to say that
salaries or
maybe,
something. I don't
yeah,
know.
and it may be something that's going on behind the scenes where the actors are being taken care of. We just don't know about.
Okay.
Possibly, I don't know.
I'm
Um,
wondering. I would
who
love to
knows?
hear what they would have to say. What's DJ have to say? Was DJ on the show? was D, was
Yeah,
DJ
he was
back on
so
the
cute
remake?
doing that.
Wasn't
He
he?
was so cute. Yeah, he was
It's just,
adorable.
but
But yeah.
and this is, I'm telling you, like, this is the age of Aquarius or something. Like, everything that was hidden is coming out. We see this with number 45. It's just, I mean, everything. So this is from what Roseanne said and how she used social media to say something that obviously has been in her since day one. And like you were saying, and I said I watched the show. I like Roseanne. I like the show, but it doesn't change. That's who she is. That's who she was. That's who she is. She's always, it just so happened that it got tweeted and it went out there. But best believe, I'm sure the people that know her are not surprised that
Yeah.
these are the sentiments that are coming out of this woman. And this is the thing about racism. 2018. This is like racism 4.0.
Hmm.
It's on another level. So,
Yeah. This administration has just gave people batteries in their backs.
man, gave them so much power, and that hatred that used to kind of, you know I'll let me smile in your face, but secretly I
Hmm.
hate your ass. Like, now they're like, there's no reason why I should smile in your face. I'm gonna hate your
Right.
ass for everybody to see.
Hmm. And something that's so subtle that I noticed, and I'm not the only one that notices because people have been talking about this like more and more lately. But before, when you're walking down the street, it's kind of common courtesy to kind of, someone's coming, walking towards you, kind of move
You
out of the
move out the
way
way.
just to get.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm telling you, these white folks ain't moving.
You know what, I
They're not
totally
moving.
totally agree with you. First it was just the Republicans. Now it's like all of the way.
It's like all of them. Like they do not
I
move, and I
totally
I, I
agree.
make it
I totally agree. And it's very
I
subtle.
make
You're
it a point
right.
to be like a football player going through the crowd because I'm not
Girl,
moving
I have to be on my New York shit. Like, we ain't moving. You gotta be
girl.
brolic up in here. We're
You
not
really
moving.
do. You really
Hmm.
do.
This
So
that is so true. We have to discuss that at a late, because I'm noticing there are these little, just little nuances that has happened since this new administration, where, like, do you call it out and out racism? No, but it
but
stems from something.
yeah, it's like those
It's
little microaggressions that happen where it's not really overt and in your face. It's just very small and subtle.
Mhm.
You
Yep,
know, not really.
definitely.
If it happens
Definitely.
isolated, you don't think anything of it. But if it keeps happening and happening, you're like, all right,
Like,
what's up?
okay, I see what's going on here. Man, how we get woke in the ratchet? Are we supposed to keep
I
this separate? All right. Okay, so moving forward, we are now in the woke minute. Let's try to keep it a minute, because I'm, the truth be told, the woke minute be bringing me down. Like, it's just, whew, it's so much to be woke about. So, all right, just getting into it. Talking about Puerto Rico. So, as we all know, Puerto Rico was ravaged. And how long ago was that? Like 9 months or something, by Hurricane Maria. Um, which has prompted the White House on Monday to send FEMA. So we've sent the FEMA director out there and Homeland Security advisors to basically evaluate the damage. So which has been the the reason behind the disparity in numbers as to casualties. Have you heard that? So depending on
Mhm.
what journalistic outlet you're listening to, the numbers are very low. They're past 4,000. Which, I mean, if it's past 4,000, we're talking about numbers. We're talking about higher than Katrina numbers. So
Yeah.
this is that's a whole nother thing. So what we've seen is, number 45, he's been very focused. His energy is on criticizing the NFL and, the NFL process instead of, really sending help to this territory. It's a territory that we own. I think
Mhm.
people are kind of confused. Puerto Rico is a Caribbean island, but it's a U.S. territory. So even though they are not, they don't get to vote in the presidential election, and they don't have a vote in Congress, but they have dual citizenship. They are Puerto Ricans, and they're citizens of the United States. Um,
Mhm.
and just the way that they have been treated, is it racist that we're talking like, what, 9, are we talking, how many months has it been? I'm trying to think, has it been 9 months?
Yeah, it has to,
um
because it was hurricane season. Hurricanes. We're about to come up on
Come
hurricane
back on
season.
another one, right? So it's almost been a year. And they're
Mhm.
talking about that there's still places there that's without water, that's without power.
Mhm.
And number 45 has been very diligent in dividing our country, as he likes to do, instead of giving support to, there's like 3.4 million Americans in Puerto Rico without power. That is just absolutely ridiculous. But here we are.
Do you remember that little press junket he did when he went there and he was throwing paper towels out into the audience?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Thanks. Thanks for the bounty.
Right. What the fuck is
We
that
did,
gonna
yes, we did, get up the water with the bounty.
Mhm.
That's basically
So
just
insensitive and so detached.
it just it borders on just uh, I'm telling you,
He definitely has some
it's
sort
a
of
mental. Thank
mental
you.
there's a chemical imbalance there. There's some
Mhm.
mental insecurity going on there. He I can't imagine he's lived his whole life and he has not been diagnosed with some sort of mental illness.
Exactly. There's a chromosome missing. I think it goes deeper than that. There's a chromosome that's missing. And this is what we've chosen to lead us. This is the leader that we've chosen. So, and that is why we have an entire country territory that's, we're talking a year later, and they still don't have power. I can't even imagine. When the power goes out for a day, my life has changed dramatically. I can't
Girl,
even
for a couple of
imagine
hours.
for a couple
I
of
mean, come
hours.
on.
Can you imagine? Like, life as I know it has ceased to exist. I have to figure out how am I going to move it on with my life. When they say you get the power come back, it'll power go down. The power will be in. They're working on it. It'll be an hour, and that hour is the longest hour ever. It's like I have to reprogram my mind. Like, bitch, go outside, do something, get
Hmm.
out in nature. Can
The
you
sun is out there. It's
right?
time.
Like, Wi-Fi, get up out in these streets, take a walk. So I can't imagine going for almost a year without power.
Yeah.
I just can't. So, but hey, y'all elected them, and this is what happened. So, all right, moving on. I did want to touch on the story of Sodariot Davis. Did you hear about this? The 15-year-old.
Actually,
Mhm.
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, yeah. So Sodariot Davis was a 15-year-old who was found dead in an abandoned building in Chicago after she was missing for about 2 weeks. So she was reported missing in April, and they found her body. So um, this is one of those situations where I as a and I don't want to get off the topic, but I'm constantly giving a side eye to the news media. Especially with this
Mhm.
administration, you have to really look at what's being reported and the reason behind why it's being reported. So I say this to say this story about Sodariot Davis. So she's a 15-year-old child, sadly has lost her life. Um, the medical examiner's office can't determine a cause of death. Were rumors that were circling around on social media that the body was found without some of the fingers and some of the organs removed.
Or-
Yes, and another
which happens more often than is reported.
then
That
then
happens a
exactly
lot.
happens a
Mhm.
lot. And then also that the connection with Kanika Jenkins, um, who was another woman who was found dead after a party at the hotel. I don't know if you saw the video about that, but that is something.
Oh,
Um,
she was in the refrigerator or the freezer.
right, they found her in the freezer. That was, that story never left me, and it was very chilling. So there's been some connection between both in Chicago. It we're coming up, or we actually had the 1 year anniversary since Kanika Jenkins' death, and then this young woman, her body was found. So, and like I said, there are media outlets that are reporting the state of the body, and how there were organs removed. But then if you go to like a CNN or an ABC News, you don't see that. You don't hear, you don't, at least what I'm saying, you don't read that part of the story. So
Mhm.
it just it indicates to me there's a war on black people. There's a war on black women. um was there organ harvesting, because I believe that is real to this day.
Yeah.
um
Hmm.
I don't know what the connection is, but there's more to this story, than what is being reported.
Of
So
course.
I just want to kind of keep that open, because I think there's a lot more to the story than what we're reading. The same thing with Timothy Cunningham. Remember the scientist that was found, and they said it was a suicide. I think there's more to that story. So
They ruled his suicide, I
as a
believe.
suicide, yeah, in a lake. And if anybody knows the lake that his body was found in, I mean, you can stand up. If as a 6 foot tall man, you'd be able to stand up. So drowning just doesn't, I don't know, the story
Yeah.
doesn't sound right to me. So let's keep an eye on this. I want to kind of revisit these stories, because like I said, I think there's more to it.
Yeah.
All right. And then moving on, we're going to touch on the story of Gregory Vaughn Hill Jr. So in 2014, two officers went to Mr. Hill's home. He lived in St. Lucie County, that's in Florida. It's like Central Florida. And they went in his house in response to a noise complaint. What happened after that has been reported depending on what side you're on of the story. But basically, this 30-year-old black man was killed by police officers at his home in his garage. The police claimed that he had a gun, so on and so forth. And it ultimately led to a wrongful death lawsuit back in 2016. So after the jury didn't indict Newman. So basically, Newman was the police officer, and there was a criminal case, and the jury did not want to indict him. So, of course, there were no charges. So the family hoped to receive compensation by suing him in a civil court. Um, of course, the jury. Did you hear about this? It's so sickening. It's like I'm basically, the jury awarded the family $4. Uh,
Did
so
read that $1 to each kid.
yeah, so he had three children, ages 7, 10, and 13. And then so each one got $1, and then another dollar for his funeral expenses.
How
And the reason that they say is it's because Florida inevitably has what they call comparative negligence. So
hmm
if you are, any percent negligent, and this is for a jury to determine, it decreases the amount of the settlement, or I'm sorry, of the judgment. So what they found is that Hill was 99% at fault for his own death, and due to that, they reduced it um, from $4 to 4 cents. So the actual verdict awarded the children um, basically 4 cents. So this is what this goes along with how much our lives, our black lives matter. So this jury, and I'm always very um I'm very careful, as a former litigator, and I've done jury trials before, and it's really easy to, we weren't there, so to figure out, what this jury heard, as opposed to
Mhm.
what was reported. There's all, you're always going to lose the there's a lot of facts that get tossed out, because you don't know what
Yeah.
happened. That being said, I can't imagine any extent or any situation where this jury, these people deliberated and they talked over this man's life, and they discussed the way in which he lost his life, and
Mhm.
never mind the fact that he was at home when all this happened, whether it was loud music playing or whatever.
Yeah, he was
but
at
they
home.
but they looked at all these facts, and they determined that, one, they had to determine that there was a wrong that was committed, and we see that by there actually was a verdict. But then
Mhm.
also that it was reduced to this embarrassing amount. It's so disgusting, and it's so I mean, I can't think of anything more disrespectful than that, because it means that
You know,
these people sat there and discussed the value of this man's life, and this is what they came up with.
Mhm. Florida always has interesting verdicts on cases. Like it, I remember back when I lived in Florida. I think the girl's name was Casey Anderson,
Oh
and she had a
yeah.
3 or 4 year old daughter.
Yep. And to this day they don't know what happened to that child.
Yeah, but all the evidence points that this woman killed her daughter.
Yeah.
But they let her
Hmm.
off. Florida is very strange, very strange.
I agree with you. And living here, I'm learning more of just how strange it is. And I don't know if it's the mix of people that come from these different backgrounds that make it up. I don't have the answer for it. But when I hear this, and I'm like, okay, surely the jury selection was or had to be at least 50% favorable to this family. When you're
Mhm.
selecting jurors to sit there and make this decisions over this man's life, and the value of his life, and determine what that was, surely you had to get a good mix of people. And this is what I learned as practicing. You never know, and that's jury selection. You can come up with questions to ask your potential jurors, because you're trying to weed out the ones that are going to kill your case, and then have the ones that are going to be beneficial. You want them sitting on the jury. And even after all of that, and you think you've gotten the perfect juror, they will still surprise you. It could be one fact that you didn't understand. You're thinking it's not that big of a deal, and they just hold on to it, and it's like that was their sole decision. I just,
Yeah.
the guy walked in the courtroom and he had on red shoes, and from right there I knew, that he did it.
Mhm.
And
And
that's how people think. That's how they think.
mhm. And
You
this and
know?
it's really important. And everyone makes jokes, and even I make jokes about not wanting to serve on jury duty. But it's really we really need to be on a jury of some
And
of these cases,
and
because
that's
you have
exactly.
to represent. Because a lot of we as black people, we have a different culture than white people, you know,
Mhm.
and what and they perceive us we're perceiving it in a certain way. They just don't understand us, and so those little small nuances that they don't understand could convict. You know.
Yep. Exactly. And I agree with you. Like, we make jokes, we try to get off, and we don't want to, but these are the things that happen. And I don't know the makeup of the jury in this particular case, but I'm willing to bet that it wasn't favorable, obviously, to this black man who lost his life
Mhm.
at home, chilling in the garage, probably, drinking and listening to his
Listening to
music.
music. And how many times have you been at home chilling with a glass of wine, listening to music?
Listen to music. It
You
just
know.
right. And when that, even doing that, could cost you your life. But
Mhm.
this is the country that we live in. And this is why, it's, look, you gotta know that, you gotta be aware of that, because the minute, don't catch, I'm saying that this is America, don't catch you slipping up, because the minute you forget that
Mhm.
it's all well and good, enjoy your life, live life to the fullest. I'm all about that positively and all of that. But look, there's some people out here that don't want you to live that life and be positive, and they're around us. We interact with them. We see them at the grocery store. They're on the police force. They're everywhere. So just, being mindful of that, and the way that we combat, like, is look, you being on juries, be excited and happy and proud. Like, look, I am so, because I want to make sure that justice is done, because you could do it from, you can't get justice. Let's just talk about it all day, but you're not actively
Right.
involved and you're not actively doing anything. So, this was just a really, really, really sad story of, really, to me, the justice system. It failed twice. It failed this man and his family twice, his legacy twice. Not only were no criminal charges brought against this police officer who killed this man in his own home, but then this family, his children,
Have to grow up without a
were
father.
basically without a father and 4 cents.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
truly, truly a tragedy. So, all right.
Yeah. So, all right. All right. Let's. Can we move away?
Yeah.
I have another word. I have another word, but this woke is on the upswing. This is a positive woke
Okay, yeah, bring it
topic.
on.
Yeah, let's bring it up because so um Jada Pinkett, she has this new like talk show that she features on Facebook, which I thought was kind of cute and interesting. It's
Mhm.
called Red Table Talk Show. And
Mhm.
so it's her mom, it's her daughter, and sometimes they have guests. They sit around a table and they just talk about different issues. And I thought it's a great platform to kind of like bring awareness and talk
Why
about
it's on
certain
Facebook
things.
though?
I don't know why it's on Facebook. I don't know. Maybe no.
Like,
I
like,
don't know.
I mean, I'm like Facebook, but okay, all right. Maybe
Mm.
that's where her
Maybe she,
audience is.
yeah, maybe she tried to pitch it to a network. Who knows?
Okay.
Um, but it's on Facebook, and so it's a weekly. She every week she talks to women discussing different issues like body image. She talks about blended families, about friendship, and I just watched this one episode today, and it
Mhm.
was about body image, which is so interesting because we all, every woman that I know, at least three things that she hates about her body or she wants to change about her body.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
they just kind of went around the table and kind of discussed it, like, why is that? And so Jada's mom, who I think she's like one of the best 70-year-old looking women I've ever seen.
Oh yes.
And
Yeah.
so she was saying that she hates her thighs. And everyone's looking at her like, really? And what she said to it too, what she said was, she's been thin her entire life. Like she grew up, she was like real thin, like bony. And then when you get older and your body starts changing, to you, because you've been in this body for so long and it looked a certain way, when it starts to change, you're like, wait a minute, I don't really like this.
Mm.
But she talked about that. And Jada now has been, I don't know if you've been following her, but she's been wearing a lot of turbans and head wraps. And
Yeah, I heard
yeah.
about, yeah.
And so now she's saying that she's wearing it because she's losing her hair. She had some
Yes, I
sort of,
heard that.
yeah, some sort of alopecia. So she's been to all these doctors and gotten tests and treatments, and she says she's just losing her hair. So, and then Willow talked about being thin, and she's real thin. But no, the funny thing is that I think she's gorgeous. She's like a model. She's thin.
Willow? All
Um,
right.
yeah,
I go
yeah,
with it.
she's cute.
I mean,
I think she's
I definitely like any brown girl, any brown woman. Like, there's so much beauty in us. But
cute.
I mean,
I think
okay,
she has like a very
she's
unique
cute.
look.
Okay, all right, I'm going with it. Go on now.
And
Leave
she
me
talked about baby girl alone. This is what she's talking about. People,
alone.
but no, she talked about being thin, and then she also talked about her hair, which I never even really paid attention to her hair. But Jada Pinkett has like fine, loose, curled hair, and her
Yeah.
brother has like this curly hair, and she doesn't. She has like coarse hair, and
Yes.
she said she had to deal with that a whole lot growing up because she didn't want this hair. She wanted the hair that they had. And, for a long
Wow.
time, Jaden they grew his hair out long. And so
Right.
she would see him and she would be so envious. So that's an issue that she's had for so long. But now she's coming to a place, she's coming to her own. She's more accepting of who she is. She wears her dreads. And she seems to be happy. Um, but it was so funny. She talked about not shaving her underarms.
Lord of mercy. What's the point of that? Tell me, please, so I understand. I'm just, I just, I
But
mean,
sometimes I don't shave mine either.
I don't understand. I mean, I still don't understand it. Like, like that's the day you don't wear a tank top. Like, what? I don't get it.
Oh yeah, well, if I'm wearing a tank, like if I'm wearing a tank in the summertime, I definitely do shave, but in the wintertime, maybe not as often.
And maybe that's why
Um,
living here in Florida, it's like there's no days off. Like that, what I learned, there are no hibernation days. Like, bitch, your
right.
toes, your underarms, and basically your coochie, everything, no hair,
Everything got to
no
get
days
done.
off. It's got everything done, nails,
Oh, so I
everything.
gotta ask you a quick question. Do you wax or do you shave?
Yeah, no. So for the most part, let me tell you a trick though, like real quick. I don't know why we talk about this. Let me tell you what works. Hair conditioner. I use Joyco hair conditioner, and
Mhm.
like a nice shave. When you condition the hair, like, I mean,
Mhm.
duh, this hair, but I'm like, okay, you just let that conditioner sit for a little bit. Your do a deep condition, and then shave. It's the best. I'm not lying though. It's the best shave. It's the best. So it's like it's almost looks like a wax because the hair tends to be a little coarse. So yeah, like
Yeah.
you condition it and soften it up. It gets you get a closer shave. I'm just saying. So yeah, I do that wax, man. And look, I've had I've had a partial colectomy and I've had a child, and that wax right there, nigga, that wax right there, nigga.
Right there.
Woo!
I waxed one.
Woo!
I went and got waxed one time, and I swear I was going to punch this lady. I was like,
That's how you feel, right?
I
Yep.
can't
Like,
finish. You cannot finish because I my this shit's gonna be half hairy, half bald. You cannot finish. I will not allow this to happen. That shit hurt. And I always said, so now, and I, oh Lord, now I'm all over the place. So I was I'm talking loud.
and here I go as your
Oh man,
friend down the rabbit hole with you guys.
right, rabbit hole. So I used to use a razor and shave, but then I got ingrown hairs, and so I actually
Yeah.
had to go to the doctor and get it like removed. So then I
Yeah.
swore I'm a razor. I can't do wax because it's too painful. So now I'm using like the shaver that men use to shave their beards.
Yeah. With the
So that's what I use now.
double edge blade.
No, no, no. It's a single edge. It's a
Oh,
single
okay.
edge.
All right.
It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a little small one. I use that now. And I always say if a motherfucker tells me he wants to get waxed, he wants me to get waxed, nigga, we both going. If I'm getting waxed, you
You
getting
getting
waxed
wet.
too. We both getting waxed.
That's a
See how you like that?
pain. That's a pain like no other. Like, you have to
Like
prepare, take your Tylenol, be stress free. You gotta put on some harmony music. Give me my stress balls. Like, it's too much. I'm telling you though.
it's
So a deep
hmm
condition first is C. But all right. So I mean, you were talking about the lovely little
yeah,
Willow,
yeah.
and
So
then we
all right, back. Let's come
that
on back. Sorry.
she doesn't shave. Does she have a reason for that? That's what I wanted to know. Like, is there a reason behind that?
I think she's just kind of into this like earthy kind of thing right now.
Oh,
She's kind of like a
the
hippie.
roots and
I
culture.
actually,
No, my roots
yeah, she's
and
kind of into
culture.
that. She's
Murderer.
adorable. I saw perform last year like a festival. She's adorable. So I think she's just kind of going through her finding herself phase. And
Is she bisexual or is she a lesbian? I thought that was what she came out.
she didn't say. She talked about guys, want guy, um, wanting to the attention of certain guys,
Hmm.
but they wouldn't give her the attention because they wanted somebody who had, who's more voluptuous, who had ass and
Oh,
tits and stuff. So, she's real thin, so she didn't mention any girls, but
okay. Oh,
I
yeah. I'm look. Let me stop starting
yeah,
rumors. I don't know.
I've heard,
Now her
the family is
mother. I
sexually
mean,
fluid, so I
yeah.
would not, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's
So,
what I was gonna say.
yeah,
I mean, they Scientologists, and I think they swing they swing both ways, don't they? I mean,
that's what
it's
I
out
heard,
there.
but
Yeah.
no one
All right.
is
Okay.
official. But
All
so
right.
that was
Well,
one
moving
episode. But
on.
then, well, hold on. I want to talk about
Okay, I'm
one more.
sorry. Look at me trying
Well,
to
actually,
trying to dig us out the
yeah,
rabbit hole.
rush my segment.
How dare I?
Right. Right. So there was a couple of other episodes that I thought were really good. So the very first one I watched was Jada Pinkett and Sharice Zambino, which is Will's
Yes.
first wife. And so they just kind of sat down and talked for about 15, 20 minutes. And I'm pretty sure it was a longer conversation, but just kind of how their interactions were over the years and how they kind of had to
Yeah.
put aside their differences and come together as co-parents
That was such
for the
grown
kids.
woman shit right there.
Was it?
I did see that,
Was
like,
it?
girl, I don't know.
Hmm.
There's a lesser part of me that can't even
It was
get
rocky in the beginning. It was rocky in the beginning. So Cherie was telling a story about I guess her son Trey was over at the house and she called over to talk to him and Jada picked up the phone and I guess Jada didn't really appreciate her tone and so they went back and they were sparring and then Cherie was like, "Bitch, that's my house you're in." No, she was like, "That's my house you're in." And Jada was like, "Bitch, it's my house now." Them's be fighting words. Them's be fighting words.
What? That charade and get in the car and run drive over there.
No,
I would
I
have
don't
been
think
at
so. But
the
she said,
gate. At the
but
gate.
at the, but Jada said that Will kind of tore her ass about that. He was like, this is my son's mother. You can't, we have to be in peace and harmony. We can't have this kind of hostility between each other. But I really like the way they kind of came together and just like they're like Willow and Jaden would go over to Cherie's house and they
Mm,
would spend holidays together. So I like the way they worked the
wow.
issues and became this blended family. So
Yeah, and
that was a good little
I
scene.
think money is a decisive factor. I don't that shit don't
Oh,
happen with Rika and Tyrone. It just don't.
no, it don't. You know what? Somebody asked Puffy about. Puffy has a lot of baby mamas and a lot of
Hmm.
kids,
How
and
you keep them
someone,
all
yeah, how you keep them all like together
in
and
line?
cohesive. He was like, I pay them very well.
Yep, I
He
get
just
it.
said point blank, I pay them very well.
Makes sense. That's why that shit don't happen outside of you gotta have somebody to make that work. I mean,
No.
even supporting like separate households, like you need to have that, which keeps a level of happiness and sanity.
Hmm.
Co-parenting is real when the money is flowing. That's
Yeah.
just my
Hmm.
opinion. But okay, all right.
That's a real statement. So that was one, and then she had an episode, the third episode, this issue was going on, but it was Gabrielle Union was up there. So apparently
Mm,
they've been having this feud going on for like 17 years.
didn't even know it.
Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea they did not like each other, which is Black Hollywood is so small.
Right.
Any kind of I don't know, network is always small, but Black Hollywood is very small. So she said they would be at different events and just wouldn't even speak to each other, and they don't even know what happened. They don't even know why they stopped talking to
Why I
each other.
jumped
But
off. Hmm.
yeah, but they just sat down and kind of worked through their issues, and I thought it was sweet. I thought it was good. So I really like this series. It's it's just kind of an example of just showing some unity between Black women. So I like it. I'm gonna be watching for it, and hopefully she gets a bigger platform than Facebook.
And Facebook. How long are the episodes?
Maybe like 15, 20 minutes. They're not long at all.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
not long at all.
man, I have to reset my password and find out who I am on Facebook. I've been off for so long. I don't know. Is it worth it? I don't know. Somebody loaded up to YouTube. I'll watch it from there. I don't know. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
you might be able to. Just Google it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
anyway,
All
you
right.
off the work list now.
I think we are at that moment in the podcast for the weekend dick report. Woo, 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 woo.
You gotta go with
I
Lord.
used to be scared of the dick. No, okay. So this is
You
actually,
gotta go with Lord.
it's a question from one of our avid readers. I mean, avid listeners is what she said. So it's basically, I'm gonna get right into it. It says, what do you ladies think about this whole hoes be winning talk? I'm 29, smart, no kids, good family, college educated. I take care of myself, and I love God. Yet it seems that for all of my good woman qualities, I find that most men want the girl that is completely opposite of me, i.e., someone who exploits herself for attention. What side are you both on in this debate? This is a good one. This is when I heard this, I'm just like, this is like an ongoing debate that we have. We talk about, I know you and I talk about this all the time. So
Hmm.
just so from my perspective, so I sympathize with this listener. I always said, my dad instilled in me, at least, among a whole bunch of other stuff, but at least that women were cherished, like they were somewhat put on a pedestal and they were to be taken care of and cherished. And there was a special thing about women. So and I'm looking at myself like the same thing. I'm college educated, I have a law degree, I'm smart, I'm fun, I like me, I'm adventurous, I'm woke, I'm into metaphysical, I'm spiritual, I'm black power, I love motorcycles, I love Louboutins, I'm a bad bitch.
Yeah.
I'm independent, I take care of myself, I respect myself. I'm thinking I'm pretty much a great catch, but
Mhm.
I've also seen where, most eligible black men, fall for the girl who really likes that attention. Maybe she doesn't really have herself together when it all comes down to it. That's not a big thing. But she's on social media, she's twerking, she got selfies all over the place, she might have sex tapes. I find that a lot of times those are the women that are praised, the ones that display their ass and their tits and, get 100,000 likes on Instagram and, get all it,
Mhm.
dudes hitting them up in their DMs. I've seen that too. And,
Mhm.
I was raised not to compete for a man, with another woman. I've never done it. I don't feel like I have to do it.
Mhm.
But you see that a lot, where these women compete, for this man, for men's attention. So, and even like look at Amber Rose. And I like Amber Rose, because
Mhm.
how you get it, how you live, however you can do it, whatever your hustle is. I don't knock nobody's hustle. But she calls herself a hoe. She
Mhm.
says I'm a hoe, and she basically made a career out of it.
Mhm.
So what it makes it, I think, really hard out here for us as women, for other women, those women who, make it so easy. There's no there's no how do you say it? They just make it too easy, because they're easy. So what do you say about it?
Well, when I read what the question was, I kind of had a different take on it because I kind of flipped it because there's always this saying, nice guys finish last, and the nice guys never get the woman, and the nice guy, you know, um, the women are always looking for like either the jock or the thug or the guy who's like flashy, but never like the homely kind of guy that's the nice guy. So it's kind of like this on the same kind of like current as that. However, I kind of feel like sometimes these guys, these self-proclaimed nice guys, aren't really all that nice. You know what I mean? And they
Mhm.
may be good on paper, they may be college educated, they may be this and they have that and they have this, but on paper, but in real life, like, who are you? And so I kind of was thinking the same thing with this. Like, she ran down everything that she does have that, on paper sounds good. I'm 20, I'm young, no kids, got a good family, I'm educated, I love God, which on paper sounds nice, but how are you in person? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, to me, it's kind of like a case by case kind of thing. I just, I don't know if
Look
I'm
how
really
you
like,
went and picked the nice girl apart.
because let me tell you, like, I'm out here on the dating scene. I'm a certain kind of guy, and I meet a lot of good guys. On paper, these guys are everything I'm looking for, but in real life, not so much. You know what I'm saying? So it could be
Mm.
this. It could be just the guys that she's going after are not really in her lane,
Mm.
and it could be the same with
Okay.
these guys, these nice guys, these self-proclaimed nice guys who are saying that these women never look at me. They always go for this type of guy. Well, maybe you're not really staying in your lane.
What does that mean? Like what? Okay, so because for example, I want to say two things. So I had a friend, and
Hmm.
she's still a friend of mine. So her thing was she could get anything that she wanted from these guys, and she's a nice looking female, but not didn't finish school. I can't tell you what her profession is. One day it might be, I don't know what it is, really. It's using it. She's creative, but she was getting men to take care of her, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
I could never do that. I can never, like, okay, get in the car. And I mean, she would get some nice cars. Like, she'd get the cars, that the townhome is paid for. She got money to go on trips. She's using somebody's cards for this. And I never knocked it. Like I said, I don't knock anybody's hustle. I just know that that's not me. That's not what my forefathers and my ancestors would want for me.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's but there are men who they look at that as a prize. They look at that like, I don't know what it is. But I do say, when I moved here, you know, when you're from up north, and I let's keep it real. Everybody pretty much goes to school. I mean, you're around. You and I met because of college, and not we didn't even go to the same college. It was just being around our friends, and so you that was something to me that it was almost like a given. And then two, it is a it's we could it's a, something to be esteemed about. It's something to be proud of. Your education is something that nobody can ever take away from you. So
Mhm.
it's almost like we had to do that. I come here, and this is the state of Florida, and we know, we've talked about Florida. It's almost like it's looked down upon. It's almost like I not that I have to keep it a secret, but it's like there's no respect that comes from, oh, you finished school. It's like, no, who gets respect? That chick that just went and got booty shots and plumped her butt up, and you know what I'm saying, her hip to her waist circumference is like like you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what is looked upon as a sign of is something of respect.
Um. Well, to honestly, if someone has a college degree or not, doesn't make a doesn't make an impact on how I feel about a person. And I'm gonna
I
say this.
agree. I agree. And I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying,
I
I
get
just
what
don't
you're
want to,
saying.
don't make me say, yeah, like, I'm not like, oh, you need a college. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
just
I
education is not respected as much as it used to be to me.
So when you were saying that this one of your friend, she used what she got to get what she want, and she got all these things from these different men. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about staying in your lane. So if this why would this woman who has all of this going for herself, why would she want a man that's attracted to that kind of thing? That's a man that's not in her lane.
But I don't
You
think
know what I
that's
mean?
what
And
she was
that's
saying. And it's not that, I don't think that's what she was saying. Like, not that she wants that man, but I guess it's the men that she's coming across. What they like is the sparkle and shine of the chick that's on Instagram and putting up pictures, and not everybody. I mean, we know
Not
this
the
is
man
not
that's not
everybody's
in your
story.
lane. And that's what I mean. Not and I'm not saying that she not being in your lane is something bad, but I'm just saying these are not the men that are for you.
Obviously.
If these men are looking for the glitter and the gold and the big asses and the twerking and all that, that's not the man for you. You got to find your man somewhere else. And that's what I mean by not staying in your lane. That's not your lane, boo. Go to your lane. And that's what I meant by that.
I'm just like, why can't we be eye candy and soul food at the same time? Like,
You
what?
can't be and in your
I,
lane. Like to be. I mean, you gotta. I have. I have to be real with myself, and we have to be real with ourselves. Like, we're attractive, we're in shape, we're educated, we're this, we're that, we got this going on or whatever. But not everybody is gonna like us, and you gotta accept it. You know what I mean? You don't
true.
like all the men out there, and they have to accept it. You know what I mean? So it's just a reality. You ain't gonna attract all the men. You're gonna attract who you're gonna attract.
Okay. So is that why? So can we use this to explain why Drake chose I don't even know remember her name, a Russo, the porn star. I mean, we were just kind of talking about this and how they kind of pass him on. And I'm not saying we're talking about a rapper or a rapper or an artist, but you would think, maybe you want to get with someone who, is on your level or can at least, and I don't know the chick that he got the baby with, but I'm willing to bet that she's not on his level. Like, why? After all,
Well,
and it's the person that you put out nice for what, and you just, I'm like, it's so, like, are you for real?
but you know what? And honest and okay, so out of this, she got a baby. So and many of us attribute this baby to a check that she's gonna get for 18 years. Right. Honestly, and so that's when they say, well, hoes be winning because she got his baby. He's gonna be paying her child support until the kid is, however old.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, what did she really win?
A check.
She got a check, but I mean, a check is great, and I would love a check. If someone wants to send me some money, please do. I can send you my Cash App name.
Cash at me.
Cash App me. I like when that little ding goes off on my phone. But honestly, like look at what she had to do to get to where she is. You know how empty she is. You know
Yeah.
how her soul has to be lacking for her to go through all these measures and sleep with all these different men to get to this point. She doesn't feel good about herself. You don't want to be in her position. You don't want to be
Mm.
her, and you don't want to be the men that's attracted to a person like her. You don't want to be with those men. And
Ooh.
so that's why I'm saying stand in your lane. You don't want those men.
Gotcha. Okay. I know, and to a certain extent, I do agree with you. I see your point, and I agree with you. But I also see her point, which is not to say she wants all of these men, but just we live in a day and age of social media. So what do you see? What do you see? You don't see, you know, the good girls, so to speak, getting with these men. But like you said, stay in your lane. So you don't even want them. Like
Yeah,
what God has for you is for you.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The universe
Moving
is
on, because I feel like that was not a dick. I needed some. Okay. We just have to wait the next week.
that wasn't a real dick question,
I
but it
wasn't
was
a
a good
dick.
question though. It
It
was a good
was. It
question.
was. It was thought provoking. I
Hmm.
appreciate it. And
Yeah.
okay. All right. Moving on. Where are we at
All
now?
right. Moving on. I reminisce.
Yes.
Yeah. So this week was my turn to pick the song, and this was
Okay.
actually the song that we kind of named our segment after.
Mm-hmm.
I reminisce. So I
Reminisce.
chose They Reminisce Over You by Pete Rock and CLC.
Oh man, a
Um,
tearjerker. Ooh,
Girl,
had me all in my feelings.
man, the time that
Ow.
this came out was just so the album, the song came out for their album, Mecca and the Soul Brother, which is like their first official album.
Classic.
Yeah,
Classic.
classic. Yep. Hmm. And so Reminisce Over You actually stands for, where the letter is TROW, which stands for, which is,
Troy.
oh yeah, there you go.
Girl.
TROY.
Who is you?
You sure you went to college? But it was in tribute to one of their homeboys, Trouble T. Roy,
Double
who
T
was a
Roy.
backup dancer for Heavy D. He died tragically while they were on tour. They were kind of horse playing around, and he fell off of like I don't know. He kind of jumped on like a wall or something, and he fell over 2 stories. He was a
Uh,
young kid. He was 22 years old.
I
Um,
remember that day.
and that was like, I grew up and people die. I had some friends die. I had some family members die. But I don't know this. When you see people on TV, you kind of put them in like they can't ever die, and
Mm-hmm.
like kind of immortal. And when that happened, man, it just hurt so
Yep. Wait, am I
so
am
so.
I am I
This
looking at that? Was that 28 years ago?
hmm,
Mm.
about
Wow.
92, the song did.
Oh
He died
yeah.
in 92.
Ooh.
So this was produced by Pete Rock, who I had a huge crush on
I know about it.
when I was
Speak on it.
ooh, child. Yeah, so there was this boy named Chris that was my
Here we go down a rabbit hole. Okay.
rabbit hole. Like Pete Rock. Chris like white girls, but I like Chris. And me
Hmm.
and Chris used to kiss after school. But anyway, I don't know. He's probably got some whole bunch of mixed babies floating around somewhere.
Oh
But
man, you
anyway,
break them.
but anyway, so back then, Pete Rock, he produced all of their music, and he really tapped into like the jazz samples, and he used two really strong samples. The intro was sampled from the song "When She Made Me Promise," which is by a group called The Beginning of the End. I never even heard of this group.
Neither have I.
Yeah, and then the sax and bass was sampled from Tom Scott's cover of "Today," which
By
was
Jefferson
originally
Airplane.
done by Jefferson Airplane. So
Yes.
this is a classic song. It still rocks, and it still makes me sad and cry and think it's thought provoking.
Yep.
In the song, he just talks about, of course, he talks about Troy, but he also talks about just kind of going down like his family history about his grandfather
Hmm.
raising him, and his mother being a young single mom, and his
And
family
his
being
aunt Joyce running
unstable.
whole business. I was like, I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel that.
yeah. So this is my choice. I love this song. I
Yes.
still play it. I still rock it when I have my grown and sexy moments. So yeah, I reminisce. I
SEO
reminisce.
smooth. Oh man, like this is definitely a tearjerker for me, just because we know what it was about and how he, weaved the name of his boy in the song, and it was a great remembrance song, and I like you said, like today is such a I can still listen to it. I can still it takes me back. So it is the reason why we named the segment I reminisce, because that is um it truly just what a tribute, and this is what music is supposed to do, like don't you feel
Yeah.
like sometimes we get caught up in this ratchet and just like the superficial, but like this right here, this is what music is supposed to do. This is what
Yeah.
hip hop really,
This was the golden age.
sure
This was the
was.
gold. This is like in the golden age of hip hop. This is like right in the beginning, like was it 1990 to like 94 was like considered
Yes,
the golden age. This was the golden age. When they say golden age of music of hip hop, this is it right here. This is a
this
classic
is what they're
version of
talking
it.
about. Yep,
And
and this and it's
woo,
truly it's a classic for me too. So thank you for bringing up reminisce. So it definitely brought me back.
all right.
Yes. So moving on, we are now at the support black businesses segment of the show. So this is the segment of the show where we basically highlight a black business. We believe in growing our economy, strengthening our communities, and we want to build awareness of products and services that are made for us by us. So this week, I want to highlight Naturalicious. Naturalicious is a black woman owned company that sells natural hair care products. So, as the story goes, after getting laid off from her job as a CEO, Gwen Jameer started selling homemade products that she was whipping up in her kitchen. So she is also, this is what I just found. I've just found out that she is the brains behind Hello Gorgeous hair care system. I don't know if you ever seen that, but it's like this organic and natural hair care system designed for curly hair textures. I also found out that she is the first African American woman to hold a patent for a natural hair product. So that's amazing. I actually use her products on I use the styling cream on my son's hair. I use it on my hair. I buy it from Sally Beauty, but I also understand that they sell it in Whole Foods as well. So their website is naturalicious.net. That's naturalicious.net. Which you can find her on the website, and she has like some really, really the products are really, really good. It's almost I almost feel like you can eat them, but you can't. But the styling cream, because contrary to popular belief, our hair needs moisture,
hmm
and so her cream it's like really moisture rich, and gives my son with those his curls, don't touch his curls, so makes it really curly. So I really like the product, so just want to highlight Naturalicious for this moment. So doing great things.
Wonderful.
Yes, 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 yes. So oh, is this the end? I wanna know. I wanna know.
Gotta know.
Oh
Is
man,
this the
I
end?
think do we have we come to the end of podcast episode 12? I'm telling you, I am just so proud of us. We are really doing this thing.
I don't
We
think
have
I've ever
really
done
done
anything for
this.
12 weeks long
I
straight.
can't, man. Even some relationships. Look at you. I know you
Right, that's what I'm saying.
as quick as you quit. But
I
we
didn't
did
even
it.
experience relationships in this 12 weeks.
We did it. We did it. What? So you can subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. We're in the Apple Podcast app. We're on Google Play, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spreaker, and Stitcher. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can visit us at That's What I'm Saying podcast.com to learn more. Send us questions and comments. We also have to shout out our super producer. Who's that, Nye?
Vegas World Inc. You can find him on Twitter, and he actually has a podcast himself called Hip Hop Now. So check him
Yes.
out. Definitely, he's on SoundCloud and iTunes and Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, check him out on Twitter. He's Vegas World Inc. And on Instagram, he is Hip Hop Now. Hip
Yes.
Hop Now.
Hip Hop Now. So, yes. So, until next week, y'all.
All right.
Take
Peace.
care.
Drop it on the random.